Hello and welcome to the Cabin Boy Knits Woolcast, coming to you from our log cabin deep in the Canadian forest.
For those of you who are new to the Woolcast, this is Christopher.
And this is the other guy,
Jamie.
We have a lot of yarn to talk about. There was a great story that was in the news this week, and some of you have probably already read it, but I really want to share that with you.
We also will be talking about Indie Untangled Everywhere. We got some great recommendations you're going to want to check out.
Absolutely. And we have a pattern that just came out from Brooklyn Boy Knits. And so I want to talk about his pattern as well and share that with you.
And then Christopher's always sneaking up on me and what you cooking in the kitchen. So I'm going to be talking about something I baked.
It smelled great. And I have something that was in my dye pot that I shared with you in the last episode. So I wanted to show you that as well.
And?
A surprise. I have a surprise.
And there is a surprise. I don't even know about it. I don't like surprises. Well, I do. I like if it's a good surprise. Well, are surprises always good?
Oh, yeah, but this one's kind of, I'm the benefactor of it. So it's a good
one. Oh, well. Woohoo! So.
And we're also going to talk about an event that's happening next week. So sit back, grab your favorite drink, and we'll tell you our story. So, Jamie, I know that you put this together. Every episode we have flowers in a vase.
Something
in a vase.
So,
what do we have here?
Well, the flower garden's no longer. So, this is what we put together today. And where are you?
I'm right here. I'm behind it. I want to show the viewers the...
Okay, so we got front and center something from Christopher's dye pot and past dye pots, which is sumac. This, if you don't recognize.
Can I just say something? This is staghorn sumac. And it's important because you can't see me from behind here. So this is staghorn sumac. The only reason I wanted to clarify that is because often people ask me, well, isn't that poisonous? The staghorn sumac is not poisonous.
I know it's not because I've seen you drink it.
Yes,
and you're still with us.
So that's right.
Yeah, and it's great color. And of course the, Canadian maple leaf. We didn't find any red ones because it's a little past the red period.
It is.
Yellow. So they go, red to yellow to brown. So, but the yellow's pretty.
Yeah. And then what's the centerpiece?
Well, I was about to say something. It was what's in your dye pot. Or what was in your dye pot. Yes. I think people recognize the leaf. It's cannabis.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
For those, most of you have never seen cannabis before, I'm sure of it. This is what it looks like. It's also late in the season, so the leaves have changed as well.
They have changed, and I dye with the fan leaves, the big leaves. So why don't we then just go into my dye pot? Because so last episode I was dyeing cannabis in my dye pot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I showed you what was in my dye pot and I showed you what I put in my dye pot, but I didn't show you what came out of my dye pot. If you watch the episode on how to dye with cannabis, I did share that, but for those of you who don't watch that, I will show you what came out of my dye pot. So here it is. Do you want to hold on? So that's it. That's the cannabis that I used to dye. It's great. It's easy to dye. It's color fast, and it lasts a long time. So it's super. And people ask me if it smells like cannabis. No, it doesn't. It doesn't smell like cannabis. After it's been washed, it just smells like wool.
So as I've said before, do not smoke this at home. Just knit something pretty with it.
Yeah. Yes. Sure. Actually, the leaves, just for those of you who may be concerned about it, the leaves that I use they have a small trace of THC, and it's really not anything, it wouldn't amount to anything that would cause you to hallucinate. So
there will be no residue on the wool, I think that's what he's trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say, for sure. Yeah. So that's what was in my dye pot. I want to talk about the story that circulated this week.
Yes.
And
you brought that to my attention. It was, fascinating.
Yeah, and I found out about it through Lewis, Brooklyn Boy Knits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on his Instagram page, and he posted it. And it's with Lola Bean. And the story is about Lola Bean.
Lola Bean.
And we've talked about Lola Bean in the past.
We have.
Yeah, because we met her a couple times, a couple festivals.
Yes, we have.
And bought her yarn. And the article was really a success story, talking about 3 women of color, focusing primarily on Lola Bean, and really, how she got into the dyeing industry. And so it covers racism in it, and it also talks about a success story. It talks about how successful it's been. But the story is really interesting because it also talks about Gigi, and I know people who are watching this are familiar with Gigi. But she really opened a lot of doors as well. And that's really, everyone needs a Gigi in their life in business, because it really helps. And I think, what Gigi was doing was really showing the potential that Lola Bean has with her great yarn dyeing. And then it also talks about Felicia, who owns String Things Studio. And
We've met as well.
Yes,
correct?
yes. And
we were there.
We were there,
okay.
And in Brooklyn. And I've talked about String Things Studios numerous times on this episode, because I love that store.
Yeah, and they were doing great things. Remember, they had a whole group of, it was veterans that they were hosting on the same night that we were there, which was fantastic. It was like, another group of people. And then when we finally went back there to say hello, there was a big surprise there as well.
It was Yasmen. Yasmen was there.
We were so excited to see each other. It was fantastic. Well, you more so than me, but
it was
because she's your favorite. But
yes,
I think she likes me too.
Yeah, I think so. Her. Yes, and you managed to get a piece of cake.
Oh yeah, it was all about the cake, because I saw that they were. I don't know. Was they?
Well, you were able to squeeze your way through. I don't know, 20 women, and find your way right to the front of the cake.
I fought my way to the cake. No, I said nothing. I was just eyeballing it all night until they finally said, "Oh, would you folk, the other group, us care for some cake?" Yes, please. And so, they were wonderful. They were a wonderful host, and she was quite wonderful. A great shop too. Yeah,
and so the reason that Felicia's in this story as well is because she opened her doors, her yarn shop, to Lola Bean, and had a trunk show, and she's selling her yarn, which is fantastic. Yeah. So it's a wonderful story. It's a feel good story, and I'm going to put a link there so that everybody watches it.
And I think I remember it as well as Lola Bean, that when she started getting a little more successful and maybe a little expansion, and then didn't she switch names to Lola Bean? And
yes,
which means it's very dear to her heart, Lola Bean.
And who's Lola?
That's her little girl.
Yep. And Bean. It's the nickname. It's her nickname. So
okay. Well, I figured that.
Yes. So that's it.
I thought there was some deep-rooted.
Well, there is. It's cute. But how?
It's Lola Bean.
How can you walk past this in a store on the label and
it's wonderful,
not pick this up?
Exactly.
And so it's a fantastic label. It's great. And then you touch the yarn, and then you can't put the yarn down. So
and then you buy a lot, and you go home and you put it on a shelf.
Yeah. So I will put a link.
Eventually knit something with it.
Eventually, yes. So why don't we stay on the Brooklyn Boy Knits theme?
Okay.
And so as I was looking at Lewis's Instagram, I noticed that he had just released a new pattern. And so I'm going to be having a picture of the pattern up here so you can see that closely.
You will?
I will. So this is the Fisherman's Toque.
Okay.
Do you want to hold that?
Am I holding it?
What
are you doing?
Well, hold up to the screen.
What?
Why? Because I want to talk about. I want to point to something.
He needs his hands to talk. I thought that was me. How am I supposed to talk now?
There was a
At least try it on.
There was a reason why I did it. Well, show the crown first.
The crown.
I wanted you to get your hands occupied so that I could talk.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this is an interesting hat, especially in my family with my daughter. My daughter lives in a university town, and she said that basically every guy wears this hat. It looks way better on you than it does on me. It looks really good.
It's a good hat. It's a nice pattern. It fits everyone.
Yeah, it's excellent. I wanted to say a couple things about the pattern. So when I read the description, because when I get a pattern like everyone else, you read the whole thing. But what I found interesting in it was that it was for suburbanites and city dwellers, or people that live in the city and people that live in the suburbs.
Is that how it's described?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so when I was looking at it,
only for those people.
No, but it's true, because if you walk into any city, and you will find you find the hipsters, they're all wearing these hats.
Well, as I say, cool dudes. You always see, and
absolutely
girls.
But I will tell you, Lewis, that they're also for people who live in cabins, because...
Well, this looks like a hat Lewis would wear. I've seen him wear
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Hat, similar style.
Yes. And so, and the reason I say that is because when I saw the hat, I thought, I want to knit this because I'm cold all the time, usually, like in the cabin. And so I like to wear hats. And this one's great because it doesn't cover your ears. It stops above your ears. And so I'm going to be wearing this pretty much every day.
It's because he's on me. I just can't keep up with the fire for him long enough. It's always like, Jamie,
fan the fire.
Fan the fire. I'll fan those flames, all right. But yeah, he's cold.
Yes. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to...
You slept with a hat last night.
I did sleep with a hat last night.
Because I turned over and I saw it. Huh? What's on your head? I know. When he got up this morning, I said, "What is on your head?"
Did you think it was the one that looks like a coat of armor?
Yes, it was the helmet hat, the helmet knitted hat.
But this is perfect because it's great because it's above your ears, and I'm going to be wearing this around.
And you also replicated the pattern almost exactly because you looked for a wool that was quite similar, almost exactly like the one in the photograph.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and that was absolutely. And what I wanted to say a couple things about this.
Mm-hmm.
The cast on, they use a German twisted cast on, which is that's the one I use as well.
German and twisted.
Yeah.
How's that?
You can say the German twisted cast on or the twisted German cast on.
What's twisted about it?
So the great thing is it gives you greater elasticity when
it's more flexible.
Yeah. So it's great. Yeah, especially when you're doing 2x2.
So it'll retain its shape that much.
And I actually knit this up twice. I knit it up and then realized that the large is probably a little too big because I was also, I didn't do a swatch because you can knit this up in a night. So I did that.
For some. A month for some, for others perhaps.
But anyway, it's a good knit. It's a quick knit, and I will be getting a lot of wear out of this. It was terrific. And the model I'm pretty sure I know who the model is on the pattern as well, because I think he was at one of our knit nights.
Oh. Okay.
When I say one of our knit nights, I don't mean our knit nights. One of the knit nights that I attended in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I'm not too many people.
Great.
I can't keep track of so many faces and so many people. I mean, imagine, even when we were on the subway that day for that adventure with Christy Glass, I mean.
Yeah.
How many dozens and dozens of people were there, and unless it's a small group, more than 5, I'm not remembering a big part of who was actually there.
Well, there are a lot of people.
A lot of people.
One of the other things I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about a little later, is the yarn that I used, because I should always talk about the yarn that was used as well. This is merino, and I picked it up at a pop-up a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to talk about that a little later on in the episode. Yes.
Well, I didn't know it was there.
I did, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and I bought it, I think, 2 days before I purchased the pattern.
Oh, so that worked out really well.
It worked out really well.
Yeah, I love that color.
Yeah, it's great. So it's really nice, and it's perfect for walking around in the cabin. The other finished object I want to talk about is...
Now this, you've been working on it. It didn't take you long, but it goes back a couple of weeks.
Did you ever see the play Oliver?
Everyone knows.
Well, holding it like this.
Yeah.
I was in the play Oliver as a kid. So
Of course
all
you
I
were.
want to say is, please, sir, I want some more.
I know. And now he says, please, sir, I have more wool. More wool.
I'm going to be putting my balls in this one. My knitted balls. I think this is perfect for that.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Your knitted Christmas balls.
Yeah.
Festive balls.
And do you remember where we picked this up?
Yeah, I do, because I have a pair of matching mitts that I'm working on. So far, they're in the bag. I mean, the yarn is in the bag.
Knitting 3 together in Huntsville.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is it. So we picked this up a couple
Gorgeous.
weeks.
That would make a great gift, because it turned out exactly how, you know,
Yes.
I'm a new knitter. So following a pattern, you think, you know, you're going to whip it up and you hope it's going to show up just as the pattern shows or the photo shows. And sometimes there's little glitches, this, that, and, you know, there could be a little bit of irregularities, let's say. But this turned out beautifully. And then, yeah, perfect.
It's excellent. And so this was also very quick to knit up. I will say that knitting was taking a second seat for a while to dyeing. I was spending all my extra time dyeing.
Yes,
So I didn't
this
get a
is
lot
true.
of knitting stuff done.
You didn't.
And then I
Got really grumpy.
and then I threw my back out.
Oh, you did?
Not on purpose.
No.
And
Not knitting.
not knitting. But what it did allow me to do was knit, because I couldn't carry anything. And so I was doing a lot of knitting. Actually,
And I was doing a lot of carrying.
for those of you who may have noticed, I'm in a new chair now. This is my Jean-Luc Picard chair.
It is.
I had to, because I was spending 8 hours at a desk every day in antique wooden chairs, which were meant for having dinner or meals at the table,
Not even.
and not sitting working
Yeah.
for 8-9 hours.
So when he's not in front of the camera and in his Jean-Luc Picard chair, he usually has this on his. He usually puts this on and wears it, and he's in another galaxy or
That's
something
right.
or other. He
Yeah.
gets into a role of sorts. No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
I just had to do that because I didn't want you to mistake this for a hat.
but I do like my Jean-Luc Picard chair.
Yes.
But I have to sit up forward.
And I like being his sidekick when he's sitting there. I'm usually O'Hora.
Well, that's true.
I can't believe I said that. Take it back. I take that back.
No, we're gonna leave that in. So,
She wasn't even in anything.
How do
with
you spell that?
She wasn't in with Jean-Luc. That was Captain Kirk. It's not even connected.
who was your favorite captain?
Captain, I don't have a favorite.
Captain Kirk is Canadian,
Captain Kirk.
but-
Seriously? I've been watching him since gosh. I was watching the original episodes, I think, on black and
I
white.
was way too young for
black
that.
and white television, this big that we had sitting on a stool.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. I was too young. So
You weren't even born
I wasn't
yet.
even bored yet. Jean-Luc Picard is definitely my favorite.
It was around the same time that there was one of the first moon landings. That's what I remember.
Sure.
You weren't there, though, because you were still inconceivable. That's not even the right word.
We'll go with that. So that's it. That's the finished object. So the next time you'll see it'll be full of balls.
Okay.
Yep, excellent.
And next time, maybe, you'll see the mittens that are very similar to that pattern.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's excellent.
You know the mittens?
Yeah, no, I know that.
I haven't started them.
So you've
So
made
I've
you've made a commitment
No.
online to the viewers that you're going to do the mitts. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I will, but there's no way that's happening before the next episode. I've never knit.
No,
mitts
but that
before.
could be your whip.
Someday it'll be a whip or a finished object.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, excellent. That's good. Why don't we talk about the pop-up shop now? Where I
Yeah.
got the yarn.
Yeah,
So
that's a good idea.
I'm going to put this on.
Okay.
Tell me how it looks.
Looks way better on you.
No, I don't think so.
Let's see.
Because I have a round head.
Well,
So
let's see. Is it supposed to go forward a little?
so I normally have hats that are higher up.
Oh. Well, everybody's got a
But
round
this is
head
kind of
because
no, but mine's like a bowling ball.
yeah, mine's square. His is round.
I like this part too.
Oh yeah, that's really well done.
Okay, so let's talk about the pop-up. The pop-up was probably 45 minutes away from the cabin, and it was in Prince Edward County in
Yes.
Lake Ontario.
In Lake
And-
Ontario.
Well, the island, Prince Edward County, is in
Oh,
Lake
it
Ontario.
is. Yes,
Because it's an
I thought you
island.
meant like we were on
No,
the lake.
no, we weren't in the lake. It's too
Not
cold.
this time.
It's freezing.
We didn't go on the lake this time in Prince Edward County.
And there were 5 vendors, and we practiced social distancing.
Oh, sorry.
So-
I'm distracted because of the hat, because you're talking about being on the water, and all I can think of is Jacques Cousteau. We won't go there. Okay.
Didn't he wear? But Jacques Cousteau wore a black one.
I know, but they're that.
Yeah, but it's very same pattern, very similar pattern.
Yeah.
So anyway, we want to show you. You took some footage when we were there, so
I did.
I want to share that with you. So have a look.
Yeah.
So who do we have here?
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm from Boho Knits. I am Boho Knits.
You are Boho Knits.
I'm the only one. I mostly design and I do a little bit of dyeing. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
You're a great designer.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. And dyer. Can we see your socks?
Yes, you may see my socks.
Look at those. Wow. I love those. Those are great.
This is a free pattern online called Lizard Ridge socks, but they're just normal socks and I thought that's not enough. We need to see more.
Did you design your hat?
What am I wearing? Yes!
Yep.
This is the hodgepodge hat.
I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's knit collage, so the yarn is spun in India, I think, free trade. And all these little doodads are right in the yarn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
you just
cool.
knit it up. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
So did you organize this?
Sort of. It was definitely a group collaborative effort.
Yep.
I think next year we'll just go in the next field if they'll let us and do it bigger. Yeah.
Well, this is great. It's really nice.
Yeah, thanks. We got a great day for it.
Yeah. How many people have been through so far?
That's a great question. We were supposed to have a sign-in sheet. I don't think it happened. Luckily, we have mostly females, but
Yeah.
I'm probably getting close to 100 now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Those your designs?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of stuff. 1, 2, 3. Actually, yeah, maybe they are all my designs. Those are Leslie's.
Absolutely. I feel weird talking with the mask on.
That's right. So who do we have here?
I'm Faye Woodyard from Honey Pie Hives and Herbals. And I am a herbalist, so I mostly have been making like herbal teas and salves for most of my career for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And in the last 2 years, I've really gotten into actually selling naturally dyed wool. Before that, I was playing around with it for myself.
Yep.
And even as a kid, I used to do natural dyes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You've got some great things here.
Thank you.
Really nice. So what's your favorite to use for natural dyeing? Favorite botanical?
I think goldenrod and iron has to be my favorite. This is what it looks like on its own. I just love the bright yellow.
Yep.
And then when you put it in the iron pot, it makes a beautiful green, and I love to put them together.
Yep, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And goldenrod's very abundant around here.
Yep.
And a really cool thing about goldenrod is that we also do beekeeping and we sell honey, and the bees use goldenrod as their main source of nectar to make it through the winter. That's what keeps them going through the winter.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
So what type of fiber do you use?
I use 2 different things generally. So this over here is organic merino. It's South American. And over here I have local wool. So I buy the fleece raw and I take it to Wellington Fiber Mill to get spun into wool, and then I dye it.
Yep. Oh, that's
So
great.
I'm really like very into the local fiber, using things local. You know, I've been involved in the local food movement my whole life, and now I'm just sort of taking that another step.
That's great.
Fiber.
And what breeds of sheep are they?
So far I've got Blue-Faced Leicester Gotland blend, so that's this bowl here and the one next to it.
Yep.
And I actually knitted these mitts out of it to show people what it looks like.
Oh, nice.
That's a sample. And this here is like a single ply of the same wool down on the lower level.
Oh, okay.
So Blue-Faced Leicester and Gotland. This is Ontario alpaca. Some of it is blended with wool and some of it's 100% alpaca. And then I have a little bit left of this one, which is Suffolk from Morrison Point Road. But I also have the heavier weight of it too.
Yep.
That's also the Suffolk. So these two are the same local sheep.
And I love your display.
Thank
This
you.
is great.
Yeah, it's what I use for my rest of my business as well.
Yeah. Practical. It's really nice.
Thanks. This is linen and silk. I just did a little for that for the summer.
Yeah, these are beautiful.
Thanks. And designed by Kelly.
Yeah.
We're at Kelly's house here.
Yeah, that's nice. Really nice. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Nice to see you.
Likewise. I'm going to buy something.
Cabin boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Christopher.
Christopher. Renee.
Renee.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to
Christopher.
meet you.
But you've traveled from like what's that?
Sterling, yeah.
Yeah, from Sterling. I've watched some of your videos and sad we didn't have a Fiber Fest this year, but
I know.
hopefully
But
again sometime.
hopefully sometime.
Maybe we'll be outside from here on in. Who knows?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, so my base yarn, traditionally, most of what I use is 70 merino, 20 cashmere, and 10 silk.
Yep.
I just like how soft it is. But I do, so this is a merino alpaca silk and a heavier weight, so I do gram out. But yeah, I think that looks kind of like gasoline shine.
Yeah.
It's enough to make a pair, a nice hat, or I think a fingerless glove pair, something like that.
So we managed to pick up some fiber when we were there.
Of course, he managed.
Look,
Some.
I've already made use of my basket.
You have.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't get to. I mean, I met some of the ladies there. They were lovely, but you had a good conversation with them. And so, which is which? I don't even know.
Which is which? So this is boho knits.
Boho. That. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful blue. I think blue's my new favorite color.
Really?
It's always been my favorite color.
That's my favorite color as well.
Oh, that is gorgeous too. It's almost like a crimson, like that's a beautiful red. And they're both from the same.
They're both from boho knits, and this is merino and bunny. So it's
Oh, that's why I could see the bunny
See
rabbit
that-
on the.
yeah.
I could see the little bunny rabbit on the label. I'm like, what is up? Oh yeah, it gives it that extra softness.
Boho Knits also is a great designer. She's got some really nice patterns out.
Are these naturally dyed?
No.
Okay, just
And-
because you've attained these exact colors, your way,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
They're very nice. She's a good dyer, and she's a really nice designer.
Fantastic.
So I'll put a link in for all of these people as well. And then the next one, and do you remember we had a conversation about
I'm
this?
trying to think which one, which
Okay,
is which.
so boho
Because
was
there's-
at the end with the hat and the funky socks.
Oh, at this end, yes.
Yes, yeah.
And her stuff was, she had a whole rack of stuff, and it was blowing in the wind. It was a really windy day because we were right by the lake. And do you remember it blowing in the wind? Oh, well, they'll already have seen it. It was blowing in the wind, and she was like,
Just like
and
in the clip that you
and she's
recorded.
trying to focus on it. She's going, I don't know, is that mine? And I'm thinking, well, is it? It's beside your boot. And it's just like, she's trying to focus on it. It's just, yeah. Anyway,
It was fun.
Yes, so I know which one she is.
Okay, and then at the other end,
Yes.
it was honey pie,
Heine, yes.
hives, and herbals.
Yes.
And she's a natural dyer.
And also because I remember the honey, the name, because I bought some lavender honey, which,
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah, it was really good. That was the honey that I had, that I have right now in my...
That's right. Because you mentioned thinking like, I thought because it was lavender, and I usually just have regular in my morning tea, regular tea, and you don't usually put honey in your tea, so you had it with the water, and he thought it had a little bit of a lavender taste, and he was right.
You know what's really good too? Lavender and chocolate.
And you know what's really good too is lavender and cake. Yeah. Only because my friend baked one once, and she brought it over so we could have it with dinner one time. This is going back a while now, and she left the whole rest of the cake with me, and you weren't in town.
That's silly.
And someone ate it.
Yes, imagine that.
Lavender cake. Anyway.
But you didn't give me enough time to fully explain the love of lavender and chocolate. It is so good.
It is very good. You picked some lavender. Was it lavender and chocolate that you picked up for the first time at Woolstock?
I think it was at Woolstock.
It's not even called Woolstock. I just made that up. But it's in Woodstock and it's wool.
Yeah. And then at the One of a Kind show as well. And the lavender farm is actually just 30 minutes south of here.
So good, lavender chocolate.
And my sister told me that there's a lavender farm for sale.
Well, there is. Oh, yeah. She mentioned another one. She was in was it Port Dover? She was that way.
Yeah.
But there was been one for sale in Prince Edward County as well, lavender farm.
So back to the yard.
Chocolate and cake and what yarn?
So this yarn is
nice.
goldenrod.
Oh, it is.
And so you're like,
now I remember.
Why is this goldenrod green?
I recall now.
And it's because she used iron on it. So it's a really nice green color.
But yeah, sometimes it's natural dyeing, as you know, and I'm learning, is that to get a gorgeous green or to get greens, I wouldn't say it's the simplest thing because it's a couple of processes and it really is trial and error. And I find this fascinating that goldenrod and then just the iron, depending the amounts, and of course with us we've got well water, whether she was on well water or not makes a difference. But I am like, that is a beautiful it's like an olive, a little bit deeper than an olive green.
It's beautiful.
But to get that beautiful green with the one color and then the afterbath or the iron, that's fantastic.
And you know what is even more difficult to get? What color is more difficult to get? Black. Black is
that's true too.
Black is a tough color to get with natural dyeing.
Well, you didn't even show me that one.
Well, yeah, we talked about it. I think it's within the video clip that I'm not sure. But anyway.
No.
So this is a mistake. Well, said it was a mistake.
They're never mistakes.
It's never a mistake. I love this. And so what she did was she left this in the pot and forgot about it. Which I've been known to do that many times. And she brought it out and so it was basically an iron. I'm getting too excited because to spit all this stuff out. So
it's like when I'm eating donuts, him and his wool.
So it was goldenrod and iron, and then it was sitting overnight. It was
sort of like from this dye bath, and then she forgot about it and left it. But now, now that she knows, and you know as well, but you've not tried that. That is really fantastic because you're right. To try to get black, usually you think of a combination, think of like in your paint classes when you're younger and you would just mix all of the paints together, red, blue, all your primary colors and brown, and you'd get a muddy black, or it would just turn dark, really. But to create a black color in a natural dye is a process, and it's
and here's the other reason why it's challenging, because when you get this black, one of the issues or challenges that you have with iron is that it can really make your yarn brittle. Right. And so that's why people don't really push yarn to this color with iron, because it can really damage the yarn. But feel it. That is not damaged. Oh gosh, it feels nice.
It feels the same.
It feels exactly the same as the green.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, I know with your dye pots, I mean, you've had a dye pot, let's say, like this big. I don't know what it's a lot of liquid, and you could just put like a quarter of a teaspoon, just a fraction of.
Well, it's because it's the solution that I make out of the rusty nails and the vinegar and the water, and I only put a drop in, and you're right.
And that's been sitting for months, literally. You have it sitting there for months, so you just like and it changes. You've got to just kind of go, even use like. Yeah, because teardrop or a drop thing, like it will change so quickly and easily.
Yes, yeah, it can, and so that's what you do. You put it in a tiny bit at a time, so that it doesn't drastically take over the yarn, and change the color drastically and also make it brittle. So
well, I think that these, bottom line, these are fantastic, fantastic colors. And she was a wonderful, lovely lady.
yeah, they are. They're all wonderful, and it was great too because they had, well, as you saw in the video, there were not a lot of people there, so we were social distancing. But I think people are just anxious to get outside because we've been cooped up for so long.
It was a beautiful sunny day. It was cool,
beautiful,
but it was sunny.
Yeah,
and yeah, there weren't that many people at a time. So when one would approach one of the booths, the tables, others would just stand back.
Yeah,
and like when you and I were up there, they'd stand back, and then we'd move on to the next one, and people would move in, and it was all very civilized and moved along.
And yeah, and I always felt safe.
Did you pick up one more wool, or was it?
Oh, I did. Thank you for reminding me.
Well, I know.
It was this one from. Oh, how could I forget about this? So this was yarn that I picked up. The one that I picked up 2 days before. In the middle. Stash. This is Stash. I'm going to put a link to Stash as well. And this is Merino. It's really nice. This is okay. And the color is fantastic. Her colors are beautiful.
And she was
really in the middle. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So I'll put a link to all of those. But we really enjoyed it. It was great.
Yeah, it was a nice drive, beautiful drive, and a nice outing, and nice people, and some we've met before. We've met
Bohonitz.
Yeah, a few times.
Many times.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, she's
nice.
Great.
It's nice to connect with people and actually being out there, even though, it wasn't quite Rhinebeck, mind you, but it was a little fiber market. It was great.
Yeah, and so that was our pop-up experience.
And it was your woolly fix.
It was my woolly fix, yeah, for the week. So now, let's talk about what we did last weekend.
What did we do last weekend? That was last weekend. Now, what did we do?
We were in the virtual lounge for Indie Untangled.
Oh, yes.
Everywhere.
I was thinking we were somewhere else. Well, I was, maybe. I was there.
So I wanted to bring this. I mentioned it in the last episode that we were going to be participating in it, but I really wanted to share this with you because it was a fantastic event, and I want to talk about why I thought it was fantastic. But also there were great indie dyers there, and so there's a few of them that we want to pass along. This would be a 3-hour episode if we wanted to pass all of them along.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of great. What do you call them? Just in the marketplace, there were
indie
a lot
dyers.
Of great indie dyers,
yeah,
and also other artists and fiberists, and I got to spend a little time with Yasmen.
Yes,
and something we're going to talk about a little later, which is there was a bake-along associated with.
We're going to talk about the bake-along, and then it falls on the same week as Rhinebeck as well.
Oh, geez, so little time.
Let's go there first.
Okay.
So, Jamie, I noticed that you have a sweater on.
Oh yes, this whole thing. Okay, so we've talked about it before, so I'm just gonna make it quick. I'm wearing my original Rhinebeck sweater
because you're having withdrawals.
And I've only been there once, and
I'm
anticipating going there again. You've been a few times. I was only there once, and someone knit this up for me. Liz Noakes, I've mentioned her before, actually in the last episode, because that was where she had her trunk show. Yeah. And so this was Christopher's dyed yarn. So this was indigo dyed. And if you could see that, I don't know if you could see that close up, but the variegation, if that's what it's called. If you think about any of your wools that are, just maybe double dipped or variegated, this is the sort of thing you get. So this was my first Rhinebeck sweater, and so I wore it again just for the occasion today because nobody was there, just virtually.
And so what is the wool?
The wool, oh gosh, now that I remember, definitely Gotland and Icelandic.
Yes.
Yeah, Gotland and Icelandic. And the Gotland, I love the Gotland because this is the Gotland on the sleeve, and I don't know if you could see, but there is a halo and around the neck and around the waistband. And this was my idea of the design. So it's just a basic sweater. I wanted this type of a collar. I knew that. And I also wanted these extra long, the cuff. So the cuff is about 6-7 inches. I love that because I like it up to here, and then I can fold it over, which I like to do, and a wide waistband as well. Yeah. So that's the Gotland, and the rest would be the Icelandic. And and you dyed that.
So it was a collaboration.
It's a collaboration.
Yeah. So so you wore it today to remind yourself of Rhinebeck. Yep.
That's right. And we would have had a new Rhinebeck sweater, but because we weren't going, we didn't plan on... I was hoping to knit a sweater, but I thought, well, we're not going to be going to Rhinebeck. But then Christy Glass put that notice out because she was still having our Show Us Your Rhine... What is it called? Show Us Your Rhinebeck sweater?
Yes.
What you're wearing? And had we known...
Well, we didn't know.
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it. Everybody's thinking about it. It's like, oh, no, Rhinebeck, what? And so we don't have a new sweater. So I'm wearing this old thing is what I'm wearing. We don't have a new sweater knitted up. You started a sweater, though.
Yes, I started a sweater.
Yeah, about like this much done.
And then I ripped it out.
Oh, gosh.
Because the wool I was using, I just wasn't happy with it, so I pulled it out. But we're definitely doing it next year. And
yes.
I join every Thursday night. I'm on a call with some people, some friends, and we're going to start a sweater knit along. I think in November, and we each pick our own sweater pattern. And then the sweater is going to be, we're knitting the sweater on our Thursday night calls.
Oh,
and so
you didn't tell me about this.
I know.
I'm always the last to know.
It's a surprise. And so so we each pick our own pattern, and there's some really good knitters, so I can't wait to see what they pick. But it will also, and I think we can only work on the sweater when we're on the call as well.
Well, then that's going to take weeks.
Well, it depends. It depends on how big.
Well, it's going to take weeks.
I'll just hand knit my arm knit mine.
Oh gosh, I was planning on knitting a sweater. I've been talking about it. I'm thinking that I want that to be a winter project.
Well, you probably get a pass.
Which is kind of odd. Why would I do a winter project knit a sweater? Because then by the time it's done, it's going to be spring or summer. And then it'd be ready for the following Rhinebeck.
Rhinebeck, absolutely.
Okay, that's the plan.
I did want to mention that I started watching the Christy Glass Show Me Your Rhinebeck Sweater 2020, and I think it's 3 hours long. She received hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of email or clips from people on talking about their Rhinebeck sweater, and it's fantastic. So it's definitely grab some popcorn and sit down and watch that, because we're definitely going to.
There's some amazing artisans out there, and knitters. Yeah. And so, I mean, it goes from, I don't even know how to describe it, it goes from there to there with style, design, artistry, creativity, colors, amazing.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's fascinating.
That's definitely on our to-do list.
I mean, that's like practically like being at Rhinebeck, because that's a big part of it. My thing is, like, my first Rhinebeck, my thing about it is I show up and I'm like, this is like wool carnival, but the costumes aren't costumes, but people they're fascinating. Fascinating, trendy knitted wear is incredible. Just as you just sit back with, what other cocktails or drinks or what have you, and just watch the parade of folk go by, and it's incredible. Yeah, it was. It is incredible. One of the interesting things I found this year is because of COVID, we had people were able to participate from all over the world, and that's why she has hundreds of people participating this year. Oh, that makes sense. So you get to see clips of people from all over the world who participated, and so it's really fantastic. I'll put a link to that as well. Yeah, because that's a good point. I didn't even think about that, because when she does it live on location, it's just the people who can make it there. But what about all those people who would love to be there but can't be there? And they're creative somewhere from around the world, and here they are. Pop, here's my sweater, and I'm sure there's. Yeah, that makes sense. So before we go on with Indie Untangled Everywhere, because we kind of did a sidebar. We did. Where's our drinks? We forgot. We didn't grab a drink. We put them on the side, and we forgot to bring them up. I always have a drink on the side. Here it is now. Cheers. Cheers. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to look at the person when you cheer. I know, but we never cheer on camera. I just never cheered on camera. Well, because we haven't. You didn't grab your favorite drink. I did. I asked everyone else. Okay, let's just start over the entire Woolcast. We didn't have our drink, and here it is now. We got to start back from square one. Square one. I'm having coffee, and it's friggin' delicious, because you know what's in it? Maple syrup, because maple syrup goes with everything. Oh, yeah. I'm drinking hot water and honey. But it's local honey. Oh, you just... Excuse me. Anyway, so have we
Are we composed again?
No, that went down the wrong hole because water and honey. Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to Indie Untangled Everywhere. I love, love, love the concept of this. Bringing together indie dyers from all over the place and having a marketplace for it. I think that's a fantastic concept. I love it. And so, huge supporter. We've been a couple of years. Well, I've been a couple of years. You were there last year. And that's where we met Lola Bean. I think
That's right.
Yeah. And a cast of others. So what I thought I would do is talk to you about the methodology that I use. Because I talked about this before when I go to festivals.
Methodology. Method. There's a method to his madness. That cliche saying, method.
So don't get up and get a drink right now. I want to tell you what. I do want to share it with you because it is overwhelming. You see a list of vendors and you think, how am I going to spend my time?
Dozens.
And the interesting thing is, when it's virtual, you get to pop. The vendors have basically an hour to talk about their products. And so it's like the shopping network. But you can go from vendor to vendor to vendor because they're on it. Some of them are on at the same time. Some of them are on at different times. And so you get to dip in and see what they're all about.
So how's that any different than going from one booth to the next to the next to the next, and hours go by and hours go by, and then you do a tour, then you go back to them, then you go back, then you go back. Then in the end you go back to your favorites, and then you go back again. And then we do one final tour.
The main difference is that your legs aren't sore and you're not tired.
No, but this is like...
So what I do is this. There is a difference. The difference is this. That because it's online, I look at a couple things. One is I want to see what it's all about, what are they going to show. So I do my research beforehand to figure out which ones I'm going to focus on firstly.
Do that.
And then I will I'll go to their website, and I love two things are important to me. One of them is the fiber that they have, and the second is their story. I want to hear everybody's story.
I always like the backstory and the backstory and little history and know about some of these people.
Yeah, because you want to know, if you're buying indie dine, you want to know the story of where did it come from.
But you do this, but then again, you do this before going to the actual Rhinebeck as well, because then you have your list and you check off. Yes,
I guess
yes,
I do that too. Yes.
And especially, and a lot of them, well, most of them you've heard of or you do know. But okay, so we probably want to talk about some of them that we know of or have looked into that we really want to chat about.
Yeah, because there were so many wonderful, wonderful indie dyers there, and so I just shortlisted based on certain criteria. And so I want to put a link there so that you can check them out as well. But the first one I want to talk about is Native Fibers. And Native Fibers, Megan runs Native Fibers, and she's Indigenous. And she is out of North Carolina. And so her yarn is beautiful. It's really, really nice. It's got a great quality to it. It's distinct as well. Because there was a lot, sometimes they can blend in with one another, like various indie dyers. But this one, she definitely has a very clear voice. And
I know, because when I look at yarn, if I'm looking just, with my eyes, I could just go... And I wouldn't know one from the other, but you have a more of a... Oh, sure,
you would know, though.
You would discerning eye, is that what it is? And you kind of go, oh, I know who that is, because they're that good.
Well, I have a question. So, Megan, if you're watching, or Megan, if your mother is watching, I have a question for you. When I was looking on your website, there is lupin worsted. And so I'm really interested in the description of lupin worsted because it says it's a 100% wool zebra. And so I'm interested in knowing what that's all about. So if you're watching, send me a note. Or if anyone else is familiar with Native Fibers, I'd love to hear about that as well. The next one is Fully Spun.
Oh, fully
we talked about this.
Because you were thinking, sometimes Jamie's fully spun.
Sometimes.
When I get up in the morning, especially.
And Brooke runs Fully Spun. Well, yeah, you're Fully Spun all day. But Brooke runs Fully Spun, and she did something really interesting. She is from Richmond, Virginia. But one of the things that caught my eye was one of the things that inspired her were all of the pride flags. And when you think of pride flags, you think of the rainbow, but there are so many different pride flags.
To represent a whole representation of.
Yes, yeah, of all the LGBTQ plus people. So there's I don't even know the count of how many pride flags there are now, but
a handful really. I mean, it's not like there's 100.
No, I know that.
I mean,
but it's growing every day.
The diversity just keeps expanding and expanding.
But her yarn is really nice as well, and it's fantastic. It's beautiful, and what she does is she takes the roving and she dyes the roving first, and then spins it after that. And the end product it's beautiful. It's really nice.
Oh, I thought you were gonna throw away the key because there's a secret. Okay, and we had this conversation before as well, because roving, what comes first? Because I'm thinking fleece.
What comes first,
fleece,
the wool or the sheep?
The sheep, exactly. What happens when the sheep cross the street?
So if we go through the life cycle of the process.
It comes off the sheep.
Yeah, and then
is that automatically just fleece in a pile? Is that fleece in a pile?
No, because there's certain activities that you need to do. You need to clean the wool. You need to skirt the wool. You need to card the wool. You're shearing the sheep, and then it goes through the process. And then once it goes through there, and then once it's carded, it's ready to be spun or dyed. And so she takes the roving and she.
And that's called now roving.
Yes,
you've done stuff to it, and it's called roving, and she dyes the roving with the roving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay, now I know. I learn stuff on here every day.
All the time. Believe it.
Okay, so, and who else? Who else was on your
Designed by Yasmen.
Oh, Yasmen, she's my friend. Well, she's more to you than, she means more, well, how does that work? You mean more to her than me, but...
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, well, she's wonderful. She makes me laugh and smile.
So the reason I'm recommending this, Designs by Yasmen, is because the earrings are just... Well, first of all, you can see them everywhere. You can't go to a festival and not see somebody wearing her earrings. But they're so interesting. Like, I just sit there and stare at them because I have no idea how she does it. It's so creative, and it's so intricate, and they're beautiful, and there's so many different designs.
Yeah, I related to, think of snowflakes. Like if you ever... put snowflakes under a magnifying glass, and you, like you're saying, all this intricate little detailing, but one is never the same as the other, and how she comes up with the creativity one after another, and they're all so varied. It's amazing. And
she's fast. Oh my gosh, if you ever see her crochet, it's so fast. I thought Gregory Stitch was fast, and then I saw Yasmen, and they're both like really fast.
And I didn't know what she
crocheters.
was doing, because I mean I'm constantly I'll talk and I'm kind of doing this, but it's just nervous twitch. But she's moving like this, but she's actually doing something.
Yeah.
She's being productive.
But that helps you speak too, isn't it, when you're moving your hands?
Yes, because this is the foretelling of what the next word's going to be. So when I do that, it's click, 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 and there go the thoughts.
And the other thing I wanted to say about Yasmen is that when I sat in on her session, she was full of life, just like she is on Instagram, full of life and laughing and interesting, and she did a great job.
Well, I was there.
Yes, were you?
Well, I was doing.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
But we swapped, because then you were actually
tag team.
You were You were actually working.
Yeah.
That day.
Yeah, I had to jump onto a call. But yes.
So I came in and I was like, hey, and then she was like, where'd my husband go? And I'm like, it's me. But she knew who I was. She knows who I am. So the thing about Yasmen is, I mentioned that to her as I, chatted, and I sent I'd like to send a little private message just to let her know that when I see those earrings, I just equate it to like bubbly, smiley, just full of life, and seeing the earrings just make me smile because they make me think of Yasmen. Yep. I mean, they are her. So
I highly recommend that as well.
Yeah.
There's two others that I wanted to talk about as well. Mm-hmm. One of them is Plied. And Plied is, I fell in love with this yarn. It is so beautiful. So they're basically two people, I think Karita and Ann, and they're from Baltimore. Do you know anybody from Baltimore? Not personally, but do you know anybody famous from Baltimore?
I don't know. It makes me think of Hairspray.
That's right.
Baltimore.
John Waters and Divine. And so here's the wonderful thing about Plied.
Are they knitters? Who are they?
Plied has one of their colorways it's called Divine.
Oh, really?
And it's named after Divine.
The Divine.
Considered one of the greatest drag queens of all time. And John Waters is from Baltimore. I'm not sure if Divine is from Baltimore or not, but anyway.
I'm thinking yes.
Probably.
But
So anyway, so I thought that was hilarious. But they are a really interesting duo, and they work with Harrisville, and that's the mill that processes their yarn. Their yarn is absolutely beautiful.
okay.
And if you go on their website, their yarn will say, or on their website it says their yarn is the shit.
Oh, yes, I read that. Yeah, because I read, yes.
So just to be clear, I didn't say that their yarn is shit.
Don't even say that.
The yarn is the shit.
I know, I do remember that because I was on, I did go on their website because you recommended. And, they go on and on and on about the story. And they seem like very cool ladies.
Yes.
And I go down, down, down. And it was one of the last slides. It's like, yeah, our yard, it ended with, is the shit. And I was like, oh. It was unexpected, but it just gives them personality, doesn't it?
Listen to your.
I think I just blew a bubble. Sorry.
I'm sure you were extremely mortified.
I heard the S word. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But their yarn is beautiful. It is so nice, and so.
Well, it's the shit, so it's gotta be.
So I highly recommend that you check out their yarn as well. I definitely want to get my hands on that yarn. Okay. It's really nice, and I do think. I don't think I'm making this up. I think that String Thing Studio may carry their yarn. I think.
Don't look at me. I'm the last to know, remember? And
the last group I want to talk about is, they're not indie dyers, but they're a store. And it's called Scratch.
Scratch.
Out of Lebanon, New Hampshire.
I don't know these people.
And
have we met them? Anyone?
No,
Scratch?
we have not met them. Okay. It's Jessica and Karen.
Would they have been at... They would have been at the Indie.
May have been, but I don't remember meeting them. But I do know their story now of their store.
Okay.
And this is definitely on my bucket list of stores to go to. They really promote indie dyers. They promote women. They promote the BIPOC community. They promote the queer community.
Wow.
And
that's very good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, and they've got great yarn. They've got really nice yarn in their shop. So it's just their website has a great vibe to it as well. And so I'm looking forward to I'm going to put that on my list and checking them out as well. And that was it. I do want to talk about the virtual lounge as well. Okay. So that was a list of vendors. So we were there last...
And there were many, many more vendors. I mean, there were so many.
Oh my gosh, there were so many more. This could be a 3-hour...
Yeah, exactly.
There were so many great ones. We were in a virtual lounge on Saturday, and I had a little bit of I was completely stressed out the day before. Because
I don't know what ever's do you mean.
Our internet went down.
I think I was pulling my hair out.
The internet went down.
Oh, right.
I was not happy, and I had calls that I was supposed to be on, and I had it was awful. So
yeah.
The internet crashed. It was the modem, and my son diagnosed it about 3 months ago.
Yeah, and then we've had trees down and wires down and branches down, and it's like, oh my gosh, there was a windstorm, so it's like, are the cables down? Is everything out? And then like, okay, where can we go? Where can we go? Where can we go do this? And he was like losing his mind in the morning. Oh, it's just going on and on. Because
the system crashed, I missed a couple of the virtual lounges that I really wanted to see.
Oh, that's right.
And one of them is one of my new favorite people.
Oh, do I know who it is?
Babbles.
Yes.
Babbles.
I like Babbles.
So I showed you her. We went on and started watching some of her episodes on YouTube. And Grace O'Neill. And she's just... It's really interesting because when you see so many knitting vlogs, there's a lot of similarity between them, and it's very difficult to stand out or to offer something different. And you get little snippets of her life through the day.
She is.
And what a sweetheart. She's wonderful.
She is, that's like, keep it real. I mean, oh my gosh, she is so real in herself, and I love that.
And there's no filter.
She is so much fun. And, I do have some very good Irish friends in their Irish background, and they've been friends of mine for years, and they were a large family. I think they were a family of like 14 or 13. No, I think it's 12. A large Irish family.
Large.
So, I've met some of the cousins and the younger generation, let's say, or the next generation, and there's something about the just this joie de vivre and a wholesome and fun kind of a people. I really, really do. And she seems to me, just from those examples, as typical Irish hospitality. You just want to go there and you do want to spend that time with her. She's that much fun.
She's a lot of fun. And I've mentioned the show The Dairy Girls on here before, which I was addicted to.
Dairy Girls, come on.
I love that show, but forget The Dairy Girls now. We've got Babbles. And so we've moved on.
No, you can't wait to actually maybe have a conversation with her, because you want to say, okay, if you watch The Dairy Girls, which, I mean, she must. She's Irish. I don't know. Do you watch The Dairy Girls? It's like, which one are you? Because he just wants to say which one he, can what's the word? Not associate with, but which one do you identify with? One of the Kerry girls. It is quite hysterical for it.
Well, which one do you identify?
I don't know it that well. I'm part. You know me. I'm a little bit of every one of those the five main girls. I'm a little bit of every one of them, I'm sure.
So if anybody out there watches The Dairy Girls, it's on Netflix. We'd love to see which one you identify with, or it could be little bits and pieces of all of them. But it's fun. But I've moved on from The Dairy Girls.
Some people might be offended by watching that show.
I'm onto Babbles. So
exactly.
I'm all about Babbles.
All about Babbles.
So anyway,
we'll be seeing more. Hopefully, we'll be seeing more of you, Babbles. Dairy Girls are out. You're in.
So pulling it back to the show. So I did miss some, and I was.
What were you talking about?
Upset about that.
Yes.
So then we were up and running on our day, and we had a great time. And thank you for those of you who showed up and asked questions and listened to us talk about wool. It was a lot of fun.
I wasn't there.
Were you not there?
See how stressed out it is? He doesn't even know what time of day it was. You just know he went through this, he went through his spot and did his thing, and I wasn't there. I was over here, and he's pulling his hair, making me pull my hair, and then he was just like, oh my gosh, it was a crazy day, but it all worked out in the end, didn't it?
It all worked out.
What he's trying to say. It all worked out in the end.
It all worked out in the end, and
it was wonderful.
And I was watching, right after me, it was Hey Brown Berry.
Yes.
And so what I found fascinating was that, so I went back in and to watch Hey Brown Berry, and she's fantastic. She's so great.
When did we see her last? Did we see her in New York?
We saw her in New York.
At Vogue?
Yeah. Well, we saw her definitely at Rhinebeck.
Did we see her at Vogue?
I think so. I can't remember.
So was Rhinebeck.
Definitely at Rhinebeck.
You'd have to remind me, because I don't know. Because that was my first time Rhinebeck, my first time Vogue.
Right.
So...
But
yeah.
she was great, and what I found fascinating was she's the exact same person that she is on her YouTube channel as...
That's a good thing.
...as on in the virtual lounge.
Because we're not.
No, but even like she was great at facilitating the discussion for the hour.
You did say she was wonderful when you got off. I remember it.
But also you felt great because she was very positive, and it was wonderful. So it was. Yeah. So thank you, Hey Brown Berry, for that. Yes. I really enjoyed it.
That was the first thing you did say after watching it. You mentioned how she was so wonderful at what she does, and yeah, that's one to watch for sure. So wrapping that up, it was fantastic, great experience. The other thing I just wanted to say was that Indie Untangled Everywhere was so well organized. It was one of the best. It was fantastic. There was tons of communication, and I didn't ever have any concerns about when I was supposed to be at certain places. Everything was so easy, and it was fantastic. So you mean the virtual? You're talking about this virtual experience.
The virtual experience,
okay.
Yes, yeah. It was really...
Which is the same as I mean, the festival would have been run, and as it was when we were there. Yeah, and as was pointed out, there's a ton of... Even though it's virtual, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scenes. Oh gosh, yeah. And they did a great job, so thank you for that. And one last thing you forgot about, we're not done with Indie Untangled.
We're not? Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
Excuse me. What about me? I had a part in this because if you remember our last Woolcast, we talked about the bake-a-thon, the bake whatever I was saying, and it was the bake-along as you corrected me.
Yes.
Well, what's cooking?
So Jamie, what are you making?
I'm making those apple cider donuts. So
it almost looks like brown sugar. That's because of the apple cider that's in the...
Yeah, I was going to mention the trick to the apple cider donuts is the apple cider is you reduce it by like 50% or more, and it's more of a concentrate, so it'll be more flavorful to give it the apple cider flavor. That in the oven they go. Okay, so now that I've popped them out of the pan, they're looking a whole lot like donuts. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to dunk them in the butter, a lot of butter, and cinnamon sugar, and I think we're going to have donuts.
Did you watch?
Oh my gosh, why do I get so excited when it comes to donuts?
No, you're all giddy.
I know,
You're blushing and you're giddy.
Oh my god.
It's like you're donut drunk.
Oh my gosh. Yum.
Oh, they look delicious. Fantastic. Can't wait. Yeah, well, I will say that the bake-along, I'm so glad that was part of it because...
We talked about it.
Yeah, I think I'm a benefactor or will be a benefactor.
Well, maybe, because we talked about apple cider donuts that are,
Yes.
you're lined up from here to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. You're lined up all day to get an apple cider donut. But here today, you don't have to line up for an apple cider donut.
Oh, wow.
Because I baked some.
They smell great.
Now, part of the bake-along, now we know that was the other day, but I just did these and I wanted to share with all of you. I might share one with this one. We haven't tried them yet.
We have not tried
Because I'm not too fussed about donuts. I don't really like donuts. I don't really like cake. Okay.
You like
Confession. Do I like both?
What do you like more? Do you like donuts or do you like cake?
No. There's no this, that, and the other. It's my favorite food group is cake.
Right.
Donut, cake, pastry, cake.
Yeah.
Favorite food group. And I hear something in the background. There's some sort of
It's
wild
Zen.
animal.
There's Zen will bark at the
gosh.
deer in the back.
He barks at birds
backyard.
now. There's deer, there's bird, there's foxes, there's coyote, the rabbits going by, and this is what we get. Anyway, I'm going to ignore that because I've got donuts in front of me. Well, okay, you try one first. You go ahead. No,
you made them.
Here,
You try
you take
them.
one and we'll bite at the same time.
Okay, well,
You
take the top one.
Okay, no, that one's not big. Okay. There it is.
There's a big one right there.
No, just have that one. I'm going to have more than one. I might have more than one. Okay,
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Just... It tastes like a donut. Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's really good.
It's really good.
That is delicious.
I'm not just saying that because it's my favorite food in the world. It's really good. It's really, really good. I'm surprised. Because when I looked at them coming out of the oven, I was like, meh, okay, whatever. But finished product, they look really good, and they taste just as good as they look.
Now, will you share the recipe with the viewers?
Recipe? Yeah, it's really simple to do. But I shouldn't be talking with my mouth full, but...
No, but we can put it in the show notes.
No, but I mean, I'm not going to be able to talk for the rest of this episode because I'm going to get stuff in my cake hole.
Promises.
No, it's basically, okay, the secret to the apple cider donuts, the secret is this. We know there's apple cider in there, right? But you do a reduction with the apple cider. So you take about a cup and a half, and you simmer it, and you, what did I just say? You reduce it to about 1/3 of a cup. So I think that's more than half, if I can do my math quick enough. You reduce it to this, and so it's so intense. So that's how you get the apple cider flavor in the donut.
The apple cider flavor.
And these
is
are baked.
Great.
So you don't have to do the
baked.
deep fried, and I considered it because you could just do a big pan of oil. You could do it in a pan sort of thing. But these are baked. And this is the thing. They taste just like a donut, even
Those
though
are
they're
amazing.
baked. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, that was fun.
Really good. So that was, was there anything else with Indie Untangled Everywhere?
What?
So that was it. Those were fantastic. We will put the recipe on the show notes so you can look at that. I would highly recommend those.
And I'll just move these over here for now, but still in hand's reach.
Yep.
My hand's reach.
We talked about what's in my dye pot.
We did?
Already. Yeah, it was the cannabis.
We did.
And I've got bags and bags of it, so I'm still doing that this week. So I don't have anything new in my dye pot. I've just been doing tons of dyeing with cannabis leaves. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was I bought myself a Christmas gift.
You did? Mm-hmm. Do I know about this?
No.
Well, that's the surprise.
That's the surprise.
Now my surprise. Not even a real surprise because he knows about it.
But I'm really excited about it. I want to share it with the viewers now because I'm not sure how many are available. So for those of you who are interested in sheep breeds, there is something called the breed study, and Roses and Pearls from Thunder Bay put this on, and you're gonna get 40 different breeds of sheep and a 1 ounce fleece from all of them, and you get an information card with it as well. And so I am so excited about this, to get fleece from 40 different sheep. And I already know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to put it on a board and with labels on all of them so I can look at it all the time. I'm just so excited about this.
Well, that's similar to our friend at the store we visited in Thunder Bay.
That's where it came from, I think. Because this is the second year for it. So probably
Yeah,
Jennifer created it.
She had a board of it,
Yes.
of the different wool types. And
Yes. Yeah, this was not, that's not my idea.
No.
It was the store scene in the store that reminded me of it. But what else does it remind you of? A big event that we held here? Oh my gosh, you can't think because you're eating donut. We had a big event probably 3 years ago now.
I know what you're talking
with
about.
John Crane.
Yes.
And I've also talked about this. I think if you go back in the history of episodes, this was before I even started a Woolcast. I put together a YouTube clip on the event, and John Crane had, I think it was 70 different breeds of sheep, and he brought samples of all of the fleece up here, and then some of it was spun by Green Mountain Spinnery into yarn. And there were swatches made, and there were information cards on all of the sheep. So it was fantastic. That's what it reminded me of.
It's a wonderful display. And where is it now? You said, is it somewhere permanently now?
Yes.
Because he's traveled.
I have
with
definitely
that,
talked
because
about
it's
this.
a fantastic, wonderful display.
It's at Brooklyn Tweed. That's where it is.
Okay.
At their, I guess at their head office. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what they're doing with it. But yeah, so I'm really, really excited about that. When can you get your hands on 40 different varieties
exactly.
sheep breeds? So I'm really super excited about that.
Okay.
Or do you want to talk about what's going on next week?
I don't know what's going on next week.
We are...
I'm just about done my donut.
Getting your sugar fix. Delphina Collective, so Sophie of Delphina Collective reached out and she said, hey, do you guys want to participate in a trunk show? And it's going to be next weekend, and it is called the Black Mountain Indie Extravaganza. So we will be participating with Sophie or Delphina Collective. So we did a collaboration, and meaning the collaboration was this. My contribution was yes. I said yes, that I'd like to collaborate with and have sell these bags on our website. And we were supposed to be selling them at one of the shows, and it was canceled because of COVID. So we have these bags, and they're going to be going on my website. They're going to be on her website, and we've co-branded as well. So there's the Captain Boy Knits tag, and then the Delphina tag is right there. And these are, do you know what these are?
Bags.
Yeah, they're not shaving kits. They're
See it.
kits. So basically knitting bags. It's a clutch.
Well, that's what I thought. They're so beautiful. Why would
They're gorgeous.
If I was going to a special event, I'd definitely have one of these, and it wouldn't be for my knitting.
So there's wood inside. There's a different pattern
wood
inside. Well, a pattern of wood. Sorry, a pattern of wood.
Wow,
And it's in the woods.
It's a wood theme.
Wood theme. There you go.
The woods with with a campfire, and I see a moose, and I see a campfire. I see chopping wood. I see the moon. That's beautiful. Oh, I see a fox. Fantastic.
And then here's a
Everything
Canadiana.
you see around the cabin.
That's right. That was the inspiration. Here's a Canadiana theme.
Let's see. Ooh.
There's a toque. Oh, there's poutine. Poutine.
What's that?
Poutine, sorry.
I wouldn't have any idea what poutine is.
No. A mousse,
A friendly Mountie.
friendly
It
Mountie.
says friendly Mountie.
Oh, he's not wearing heels though.
The Queen. Oh. The Queen. Because she's on her coins.
Oh, that's right. Oh, mucklucks.
Oh, mucklucks.
And wheat. And maple syrup.
Do you know what mucklucks are?
So the purpose of this is really taking certain things that are found in Canada and
Maple syrup, which
Maple
I'm
syrup.
having my coffee. What
Yeah.
is this one? Oh, you forgot one. That's totally Canadian.
Oh, the Zamboni.
The Zamboni. You know, hockey, the Zamboni. It clears the ice, melts, clears the surface.
I remember I was at a
Surface
hockey
ice.
tournament when I was a teenager, and it was in Niagara Falls, and my mother was in the stands, and we were watching another game before ours, and the Zamboni driver was cleaning the ice before, like in between games.
Okay, here we go.
He was so drunk.
I remember.
He ended
you
up
told me
falling
this story.
off. He ended up falling off the Zamboni.
Nice.
I don't think he hurt himself.
Oh
Well, if he did, he didn't
gosh.
feel it. But he was. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, there was something
That's
I
my Zamboni
saw
story.
recently with, well, not that long ago, and it's with Sydney. What's his name?
Crosby.
Sidney Crosby on the Zamboni with someone, I think, and they were going around the Zamboni. Yeah, it also has a totem pole, which is very Canadian, native totem pole, and polar bear.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you could go to Churchill, Manitoba, which is just over there. Well, we didn't. Had we gone just a little bit further on our trip from Thunder Bay, we were just on the border of Manitoba. Churchill was very well, no, because it's further north, but we've
Yeah.
been just on the border of the province of Manitoba. Churchill, just up, fair sized city. You can go there and polar bears wander right nearby. You could go on these tours and go watch the polar bears in this tank of a track thing that has traction like
Yeah.
the things you would see on ice caps or something. And you could go watch the polar bears.
Did you show what's inside here?
What's inside here?
Because there's a different fabric inside.
Oh, I did not do that. Oh, can you see it? It's Canadian. It's the Canadian flag.
And then here's the third one.
It's Cabin Boy knits.
My gosh, he looks exactly like me. Same
Your
body structure.
shoulders
They're
are a little wider.
wider.
yes, must agree.
And my waist is a little smaller.
Yes.
That's pretty
And
much
your beard
identical.
is a little fuller.
Wider.
You've got much. Yeah, it's not quite as rugged masculine as the real deal,
Yeah.
but pretty close.
And
It's a very
I can
close-
probably chop down logs
Oh, you could chop,
wider than that.
Yeah, he chops that. He chops that log with the one swing of the axe.
Yeah, like Paul Bunyan.
Yes, absolutely.
And the inside is plaid, buffalo plaid.
Buffalo plaid.
So that's great. They're really
Amazing, beautiful.
really nice bags.
Yes, Delphina.
she did
an amazing,
Phenomenal job. So these will be for sale next weekend at the show.
And
The trunk
she'll,
show.
and she'll also have a whole variation of her own her own designs for
Yes.
her, of just about everything. So you want to see what exactly she has out there for everyone.
Yeah. So I'll put a link to that as well, so you'll be able to find that. And I think that was it. We covered a lot this episode. And I just wanted to thank everyone for watching. And thank you for your comments. We're getting so many comments, and I'm trying my best to
Absolutely.
answer all of them. I usually carve out a time in the day to respond to questions. I had a lot of questions on mordants. So for those of you who've been watching the Natural Dye episodes, I'm going to do a whole episode just on mordants. And for those of you who are wondering, what am I talking about? It's just an agent that you use to bind the color of your dye pot to the yarn. And so we'll do a whole session on that. But is there anything that you want to say? Wrapping up?
No,
Are you still having your donut buzz?
Oh gosh, I'm spinning right now because coffee I don't drink that often. So coffee and a sugar combination, I'm a little bit loopy, or than usual.
I didn't say anything. Anyway,
So what? Did we talk about what's coming up?
yeah, that's what's coming up. The show. Jeez. I think it's
Having a donut.
on that note.
So as I was saying, I think I'm going into an induced sugar coma.
I think it started 10 minutes ago.
I think it started when we got up this morning, to be honest. It's just another day in the life of Cabin Boy Knits and the other guy and his donuts.
On that note,
On that note,
just have a wonderful week, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
And I want to say thanks again to all of you for showing up and having a spend a little time with us and my donuts.
And thanks to the subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to us. So take care, everyone.
That's
Bye-bye.
what I was going to say. Au revoir, mes
revoir.
amis.
That was good.
These are way better than I thought.
Oh my God, they're good.